Welcome to Confessions with Nikki G. I'm your host, Nikki G. I would like to thank each and every listener, or maybe you're watching me on YouTube right now, but I would just like to say thanks that you took time out of your busy day just to tune in and see what I have to talk about today. Today, I want to speak a little bit about being in a marriage or being in a relationship and possibly your spouse. They're not motivated to get up and work, or maybe they're just plain lazy. I don't know. But if you ever been in a relationship with somebody and each and every day you go to work, as a woman, I would say I will go to work, and this individual is staying home saying what they're going to do, but you're watching what they're actually doing, and that is sitting at home, maybe playing on a video game or just plain, to me, unmotivated or lazy. Why is that? But then again, they're supposed to be the head of your home. So I just wanted to speak a little bit about that and try to dip into, the roots, the causes. And as a woman, what can we do to possibly motivate that person? Or maybe you should just walk away. I don't know. Or maybe we can help that man get up. But first, I would like to introduce my guest, Calvin. He's been here before. He spoke with us about his program, Man Up, and he's here today to give a male perspective. Calvin, would you like to tell us a little something about yourself?
Yeah. Good morning. This subject here is very dear, and I guess dear to my heart, because it is. Because the way I was raised up, that a man should work. My father would get up in the morning. He said, "You have to either go to work or you got to get up out of here." And so that motivated me and my brothers to work, and we learned to work by watching him go to work. And my mother, she was the same way. My mother, she would work, but she didn't have to work. She worked because there was something that she wanted, not needed, to something that she wanted. So that made us look at her in a whole different perspective, where then a woman is not actually was meant to work when you look at it. So me coming from that type of background, I never wanted none of my wives to work when I was married. I didn't want them to work because I know we had children, and someone needed to be home to raise that child the way it's supposed to be raised and give them that loving and nurturing care. So this is a subject that is very dear to me, and we're going to touch on some personal things, some things that gonna make you feel uncomfortable, some things gonna make you look at your wife or look at your husband and say, was this of God? And that's what we aim to do today.
And with each of these different episodes that I'm doing and taking time to do, I want to throw in a little biblical principles that you could use in your relationship. I'm not saying that we all trying to be ministers. I'm not trying to say that, hey, you got to live your life this way, but it gives you something to think about going forward in your life. These principles are everyday things that we should be doing anyway. So if you incorporate that into your home, then the flow of your home should go differently. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of living in chaos. I'm tired of, getting with, individuals and they watching me go to work. Like my auntie say, you don't need nobody to watch you go to work, girl. What's wrong with you? I didn't catch it. But now I've caught it and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Now I need to help my sisters that may be in that spot right now. You don't need nobody to watch you go to work. You need a head of your household. I shouldn't say need, you should want. You should want that for yourself, to live in peace and not have to worry about that. Because after a while, I hate to say it, that person becomes a burden on you because they're relying on you for everything, just like your children. So with that being said, I wanted to speak a little bit about, I'm not going to even say that these people are lazy, but I'm just using that to set a small tone. They might be lazy. They may be at a point where they don't even know what their purpose in life is. Or they just could be unmotivated, because we all got a God-given talent, but it's on us to use it and what its purpose is. So I found 3 types of laziness that I wanted to talk about a little bit. The physical is first, and it's just neglecting your duties. Then you have a mental type of laziness, which I think all of us, women and men, have endured. And it's just trying to take these shortcuts, trying to find these get rich schemes. Oh, I'm going to make a lot of money doing this, but you're not putting in no work to get it. It's just all talk. Then you have your spiritual laziness, which is neglecting to pray, or, neglecting to pray or use your God-given talents. So all of that could be deemed as laziness / unmotivated, but you got to let some of that go. And I found something in Proverbs. Let me look it up, you guys. I want to read Proverbs 6, then 6 and 9. And it said, "You lazy people, you should watch what the ants do and learn from them. Ants have no ruler, no boss, and no leader. But in the summer, ants gather all their food and save it. So when winter comes, there's plenty to eat. You lazy people, how long are you going to lie there? When will you get up?" It's time to get up, people. It's time to get up. And as my brother would say, it's time to get up. It's time to man up. How long are you just going to sit around and do nothing and expect something to be given to you? That's just not how life works. Would you like to elaborate on that, my brother?
Oh yeah, I was. um, like my sister said, we're not trying to preach and this and that, but we're gonna give it to you biblical principle, because every conversation I had this week, it said the ladies or the men would say, "Show that to me in the Bible." So that let me know that you want to do something, but you showed me that in the Bible. So that's why when my sister sent me these scriptures, I researched them, make sure that we did it in an appropriate manner and way that biblical principles are set. Now, when she was talking about the ants have no leader. The ants, they know when to gather their food in the summertime and store it up for the wintertime. But how many of us know that we're supposed to store up in the summertime? I believe we got to flip backwards. We spend more in the summertime and we in want in the wintertime. So, to say that, I researched some things and I just want to share a couple of them with you. It says that a wise learner, and the scripture said that we should learn from the ants. Some of us don't want to learn. A wise learner accept instructions. A foolish learner, which is a failure, and I hate to use that word failure, but the Bible uses you're a failure because you ignore instructions. So if you ignore instructions, like at a stop sign, and you do that slow roll, you're gonna get a ticket because you failed to adhere to that stop sign, and you did what you wanted to do. So when you spend your money up in the summertime, balling, and when wintertime comes, your wife, your children is looking at daddy or looking at mama and say, "What we gonna eat?" Because you have spent up all the money during the summertime.
See, the problem is when daddy and the kids looking at mama for some food to eat. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Because that what we do, and I'm saying we
Yeah.
do because we all have been down that road and not realizing that we, as my son would say, "Daddy, they balling out of control." And now your wife looking at you, the man of the house, the head of the house. That's why I said we have to man up. We have to say, "No, we not buying that, or we're not going to spend that on that because this is how much we got left." So a wise man, he should always know what he have in his home. A wise man should know the check and balance of his checking account, banking account. That's if he's working, because we're going to touch on him not working and try to run things, because the wife runs the house. The husband is the head of the house. So by you being the head of the house, you should be wiser on what's being spent, how it's being spent. So if you are not working, as my father would say, all outcome and no income, then we got an issue. So that's why that woman and them children is looking at you being the head of the household because daddy have not got up and went to work.
And saying that to say, as for myself, when I was in that position, that's not an easy position to be in because I struggled with making sure all the bills are paid. I'm struggling with watching this man sit here every day, and I'm just gonna put it out there. He was an alcoholic. So I sit him watch and drink and drink and drink. And at some point I said, well, Nikki, you helping him. You buying the beer. You buying the cigarettes. You allowing him to sit there every day, all day, and do nothing. And there was nothing physically wrong with this person, just unmotivated, didn't want to work. But why is that? And why are we so accepting of that? And I'm speaking from a woman's standpoint. Why are we so accepting of that? And that could be male as well. You could run into that woman that want to sit home all day, every day, and do nothing. But why is that?
Because it's a learned habit. It's in a learning environment. That what we seen mama do, that what we seen daddy do. Mama went to work, daddy stayed home. Daddy sit on the front porch. Or daddy went to work, mama stayed home, which she's supposed to stay home. But was mama being productive during the day? See, if we don't live a productive life, that's going to show up. Because now we are asking people for handouts. Why you could have did something. If your husband is trying to work, if he have a piece of a job, that's why it's called helpmate. You're supposed to help him make them ends meet. But in this society now, the women are going to work. And like you said about the lazy, I got a piece I'm going to share with you on that. Because we are lazy. We don't want to do. The pandemic has spoiled us. And we're so used to the government giving us a check. Now, time to go back to work, we don't want to go to work. Because that woman, what I have seen, women are dropping off the kids at the daycare and going to work. The men are staying home playing on the PlayStation, not going to work. My thing is that if you not sick, if you don't have a disability where you can't go to work, you need to be at work. No matter what kind of work it is, we cannot use the excuse no more about I'm not working for $7.35 because all the wages have went up. And so now it's just that's the job that you don't want, but that's the job you need for your family. It's not what you want, it's what your family needs. Your family need to be provided for. You are the provider. And the reason why men get mad at their wives, because now the wife is the breadwinner. The wife is not supposed to be the provider. And I'm going to show it to you in Scripture. The woman, she's supposed to take care of her home. She can't take care of the home if she at work. You can't run the home from work. You have to be in the home to run. How can a man, the Bible says that the thief would not came in the home to steal if the good man was at home. The children wouldn't be running around acting crazy if the mother was at home. So what you're doing is you are substituting your training your children up in the way they should go, as the Scripture says. Train up a child in the way they should go. But you can't train them if you're at work because the husband at home. So either the husband going to have to train or the wife going to have to train. So you both supposed to train if you're at home. But what we do, the wife go to work because, like you said, that husband is just lazy. He don't want to get up, he don't want to do nothing. So now you put her in the role of head of the house, which it wasn't intended to be, but you pushed her to that point because now she's the provider. It was never intended for the woman to be the provider. She was supposed to be the helpmate. But the roles have flipped because we watch what mama do or we watch what daddy do, and mama went to work while daddy stayed at home. And when mama come home, the old saying was, I have to go make the bacon and bring it home and fry it too.
Yes, I was that woman.
See, so it's a switch now, and that's why I have to research it and look it up because I want to make sure that I'm right when I say this because I know some people gonna get mad. I can't run nobody household. You can't. I run my own household. I'm the head of my own household.
from a woman's perspective, I'm just trying to say that if you're in a relationship with somebody and they're not even trying to help you, you know, run your house where it won't be so chaotic, because like I said, that becomes stressful when everybody's dependent on you and you're supposed to be with the person that's, y'all are complementing each other.
Right.
We each have a role to play. So I'm hoping by the end of this podcast that the male will know his role and the female can know her role. And then that way it comes together and your house will run smoothly. Now, your house is going to be chaotic, like Calvin said, because the male is at home. He's not working. You're going out to work. You're stressed out because you're working. You may be working overtime. And that was me. I was working 2 jobs, working overtime. That's a whole nother problem. Then you come home and then that same person that's not working is complaining because you're never home. Well, I'm never home because you're not working. Then that's a whole nother can of worms. But if you would live and use these concepts, your home, it would run differently. And I'm not saying every day y'all gonna, as I say, like each other. You're gonna have your arguments and your disagreements, but you have a roadmap on how to handle the situation better.
Now, I got a couple of things I want to read, and I really want y'all to listen to what I'm saying. And I'm going to give you the scripture because I want you to read it for yourself. I don't want you to think me and Miss Nikki G is up here. We're just making up things. We just, just run our mile. But in 1 Timothy 5:13, it says, and besides, they learn to be idle, wandering about from house to house, and not only idle, but also gossip and busybodies, saying things which they ought not to say. Now that go both ways for a woman and a man, because the man is being idle or the woman being idle. And you just going house to house. You're not working. You're not doing nothing. You're just being idle, being a busybody, just gossiping, not saying nothing. Then you're trying to run home before the husband get home, or you're trying to run home before the wife get home and try to clean up.
Ooh,
or try
preach.
to cook.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it says. So I want you to read that for yourself, because see, then also too, it tells us that husband, unless they are very exceptional circumstances which make it impossible for the husband to work at all. That means he can't work. Exceptional circumstances. That's you have to be, how can I say, crippled. I'm gonna put it like that. You have to be where you can't walk, you're in a wheelchair, that you can't work. And I know some people that's in wheelchair, they have a job.
Yeah.
They work. Yeah. So it has to be an exceptional reason that you're not working. Mm-hmm. It got to be because you are setting the standard. Your children are watching you. Trust me, my children watch me. My sons and my daughter watched me work. When I was sick, I would go to work. If my wife, one time she had lost her job, I worked, but she took care of the home. I didn't have to come home and want for nothing. I did not. She don't cook. I don't expect her to cook. But she cooked because she knew that I was working. Mm-hmm. And she would bring me food to the plant. She would bring me my lunch or bring me dinner to the plant where I was working at. Because that she knew I was working. I wasn't out there playing.
Yes.
But see, this generation want a handout. They want their wives to be their mothers. And your wife is your wife. It said when you leave your father and you leave your mother, you become as one. You cleave you unity, you one. What man hate himself? So when you have one, your wife is your image of you, and you are the image of your wife. Y'all feed off each other. So what man hate himself? Mm. So you're supposed to love your wife like Christ loved the church. The church did. The wives are not perfect. See, we're looking for a perfect wife. 34, 26, 34, cook, clean, everything. No, your wife is not your maid. And that's why women get frustrated. I have been in a marriage where I didn't take advantage of my wife, but I expected certain things from my wife, not knowing that she wasn't capable of them things. Mm-hmm. See, because we didn't sit and talk. That's another thing. You have to sit and talk. You have to know what's going on for that wife to understand that you can't work. It have to be an issue. We as men, we have our pride so much that we don't want to talk about issues. So we have to man up and realize that we are a problem. We are causing the problem.
And the problem stems from not knowing your place in the relationship. We jump into these relationships not knowing our place. And that stems from even girlfriend, boyfriend. If you want to play the role of a husband and a wife, then let's do it, and let's do it the right way. If you're not married and you're living together, to me, that's the same thing. Husband and a wife, y'all in the house, y'all having kids, or you may have kids from your previous relationship. Y'all a family, y'all a unit. And that cooking and all of that. And for me, for years, I made excuses for this person because this person did cook. He did everything, but he just wasn't motivated to go to work. After a while, that get old.
No, it do get old. How can I say this? I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to offend no ladies. I don't want to offend no men. But you have to realize that the problem that we create in our own relationships come from us being overbearing or being untrustworthy. In Proverbs 10 and 22, and I'm saying this because we as men and women say, "Ooh, God bless me with him. God bless me with her." But I'm gonna prove you something. Make sure it's a God blessing. Because in Proverbs 10 and 22 says that God blessings add no sorrow. I'm gonna repeat that again. God blessings add no sorrow. That means that when you say that God bless you with this man, why are you stressing? God bless me with that woman. Why I'm tripping? Why I'm filing her? You can't rest at night. You blowing his phone up. You put a GPS tracker on his phone now, trying to figure out where. But God bless you with this man. So did you really ask God for this man, or was this on your wish list? Because his blessing, oh, I'm so blessed and highly favored, but then he's beating you down at home behind the closed door.
Ooh,
He's
preach.
cussing you out, talking to you like you just trailer trash. But he's a blessing.
I was listening to this guy, and he said something that opened my eyes to that whole blessing thing. He said that having a piece of a man, and it made me think about that old song, having a piece of a man is better than no man.
No man.
And that has destroyed a lot of women, including myself. Because just like Calvin said, oh, you got a man. It's a piece of a man. And look what he's doing to you behind closed doors. But that's what you have, a piece of a man. I don't know about you ladies, but I don't want no more pieces of a man. I want a whole man that know where his place is, know his role, and we get together and we gonna make things happen. But yeah, you get a piece of a man treating you like dirt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because see, this is and this is the thing with me. I have daughters, I have nieces, I have granddaughters, and I sit back and watch them. And they come to me for advice. And I try not to get nobody business. But the first thing I ask them, are you sure that God sent this man in your life? Did you pray about this? Was you raised like this? Because I see a lot of stay-at-home guys that don't know how to change a tire, that don't know how, because they weren't trained by their fathers, or the women weren't trained by their mothers. This type of behavior because they seen their mom do this. See, it's a learned behavior. I don't care what nobody says. It's a learned. You learn this. When they say take a village to raise a child, watch what village you in though.
Woo.
See, because some villages, just like in the Bible said about the Samaritan, they were mixed people. So you had a little bit of everything up in there. So now you taking your child over to Aunt May house, Aunt May alcoholic, Uncle Bubba's back there gambling, drinking, So everybody training your child now. I learned that I had uncles that I didn't have and had aunties I didn't have because, when we was growing up, oh, that's your Uncle Johnny, but I never seen Uncle Johnny at the family reunion. So we have to watch who we allow to train our children because our children get that trained behavior. I used to watch my mother and sister talk on the phone. That's how I learned about women. I watched him how they say, well, that's my brother on the phone. Let me click over. Really? So I learned. It's a learned behavior. You learn from what you see.
That's true.
See, you learn from what you see. So we have to be careful what we do and how we do it because somebody's watching us. So now you're saying, where you get that from? Mm-hmm. Wait, you didn't get that from me? Oh, yeah, Mom. See, children have a good memory when you try to bust them down about what they're doing. They'll quickly call us a hypocrite. Well, you said this, you did this, and you just said that. I got a whooping in church because I heard my mama say that one of the sisters in church, that's a wig she got on. See, back then you couldn't say that's a wig. You got beat down.
Yeah.
You thinking that's the real hair. So I repeated what my mama said. As kids, my mama said, your mama wear a wig all the time. Because that's what we hear. Mm-hmm. So we have to be careful what we say and what we do in front of our children because now they're grown up now. Mm-hmm. Nothing you can do. All we can do is try to man up or woman up about the things we did and things we said because now that's your fruit. You can have good fruit or you can have bad fruit. My grandmother said, baby, I can tell the fruit because it don't fall far from the tree.
Now, we all heard that saying.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I didn't learn till later in life what that truly meant, but I see it now. Mm-hmm. Because I'd be like, ooh, she act just like her daddy.
Yeah. So going forward, it's important, especially when you tie in kids into your relationship, how your household is being ran because kids are like sponges. And I use a very small example, and I'm pretty sure all of us have experienced this. I guess my nephew, when he probably was about maybe 3 or 4, we going in the store. His mom was pregnant with the second child again. So we're going into the store. It's probably about June, July. He said, ooh, he holding his stomach. Ooh, it's hot as hell in here. That's because that's what he seen his mama do. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying that to say kids are like sponges. They're going to soak up whatever you do. Now, what do you know about having it? He rubbing his stomach just like his mama would rub his stomach, and she would say the same thing, so he do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying that to say you have to be very careful how you raise your children, who your children are around, who you allow into your children's lives, who you allow into your life, because that's the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. Because whoever you allow into your life is really going to dictate how your everyday life is going to occur.
And that's where we go back to the man on the couch while the wife go to work. That's how we
get your kids watching that.
That's how we get to that. So now your son are grown, or your daughter have a man that's taking her to work in her car, dropping her off in her car, going to wherever he want to go, picking her up late, and she still got to come home and cook. See, that's unacceptable for men because, see, it said that in Titus 1:16, that's Titus 1:16, if you ain't tore that page out your Bible, it says, such people claim they know God, but they deny him by the way they live. See, people can know who you are by the way you live. You say you know God. We all know the church lingo. Hallelujah, praise the Lord, amen, amen, amen. Mm-hmm. But do you really know God? Because if you really knew God, you wouldn't allow your wife to go to work while you stay at home. You would not. Because, oh my God, let me find it, because God said, no, say it. 2 Thessalonians 3:10 says that even while we were with you, we gave you this command: those unwilling to work will not get to eat. A man don't work, a man don't eat. Now, he was talking about believers. See, sinners know how to work. Sinners know how to go out there and hustle and get a happy meal. They know that. We got people that beg on the streets that know how to get food and what else they want. But for a believer that we say we're a Christian, I'm just putting it out there for you. You saying that you're a Christian woman and you allow this to happen to you? Because he say he's a Christian man, but his lifestyle don't line up. So who's leading you?
And where are they leading you to?
Were you lonely? You jeopardize your life for someone who said they knew Christ, but he lived a different lifestyle before you and your children. And you wonder where your children get that from. So now you puzzled as a mother or as a husband. You puzzled where they getting this from. So now you have to check yourself and make sure that you are in order and you are lining up for your household to line up. Because it is not healthy for a woman to go to work and spend most of the time at work because she don't want to come home because you there stressing her, not doing nothing. And we wonder why extramarital affairs happen at the workplace. Because you spend most of your time where? At the workplace with Bubba, Ray. Ray work, you not working. Jane work, you not working. So now I'd rather be at work than be at home. So that's where that come from. We're going to keep it real. That's where that come from. I'd rather be at work than at home. A woman, a mother, should be at home raising her children. But she got so frustrated now because you're not working. You're not doing nothing. You're stressing her. So that's where we get that is it all right? No, it's not all right for you to be at home while your spouse go to work. No, it's not okay because it's unhealthy for the relationship. It's unhealthy for the children. Because now the children finna get grown and that son is gonna see the same thing. He gonna think that his female supposed to go to work and he put to sit home with his hand out, go in her purse, take all her money. That's unacceptable.
Okay, so let's back up. Now, when you spoke about going to work and being at work all the time, for me, that happened in my relationship because the male wasn't in his place and I wasn't in my place. So by me being gone all the time, yeah, that person did wander out there. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that person just wanted to be out there anyway. It didn't matter whether I was at work. It didn't matter where I was. If somebody got in their mind that's what they want to do, that's what they're going to do. So saying that to say, it's just best to have your household in the proper order so you won't have those things in the back burner happening to you. Because when they happen, it really hurts. Because you're out there working, you busting your butt, you come home to chaos. And Calvin Wright, I used to stay at work all of the time because I didn't want to come home to all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Nikki, you sure work a lot. Yeah, I sure do. Because I don't want to come home. It's not that I was seeing somebody. I just didn't want to go to my house because it was in chaos.
Come on while they sleep. For you.
There you go. Or I work an overnight shift, which is
take the graveyard shift because when I get home, you gone.
sleeping.
Yeah, but that would happen. So it's not okay.
Yeah,
it's not because it caused too much damage to the relationship. It's not okay. So men and women, we have to man up and figure out why. Figure it out why. You have to say, okay, hold up, why? I love my wife. I love my children. I can't work. Okay. Can you push a lawnmower? Can you cut grass? Can you paint? You have to find something to do. Even though I'm retired, I still have to find something to do because I do not feel right when my wife should run to go to work. And we have a daycare. I help in the daycare, but it still seems like I'm at home. I need to be at the house doing something That's just in me. I don't have to, but I do it because I I was never without a job because I provided for my family. That's something that I was taught to provide. And that sticks in my head. If I don't work, I don't deserve to eat. My mother raised us up to be sufficient on self. And what I mean by that, she taught us to cook, to clean, to sew, to iron patches on our pants when it was toe. She taught us all of that. Because you have to do something. You have to do something besides sitting there playing on that Madden, on that Xbox. Xbox have caused so many divorces. And I tell the men group that I see, I tell them, I say, your wife know exactly when to cheat on you. Because they figure us out. Just like we figured women out. The best time to cheat on a man, I'm putting it out there, we're gonna keep it real, just man it up. Football games, because they on all day. Basketball playoff, they on all day. For a woman and for a man, when our wives watching the have and have nots, that's their own hour. When they're watching hip hop Hollywood and hip hop Atlanta, all them series. So we it's a learned behavior, we know, because this is what we get. But if you decide to do that, remember this now, 30 minutes of pleasure for a lifetime of aggravation in your life. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the aggravation of you losing everything you got for that moment when you can fix it at home with your spouse or with that girlfriend, that boyfriend. It take a conversation to say, you know what? I can't do this no more. Instead of going out the house, have it in-house and let them know what's not working. Give them a chance to turn it around.
Yeah, I agree. The communication is very important. But going back to what you said about how the male's supposed to, if he says he's, in the church and all that, but he's not showing you that, red flag, red flag, red flag. That's when you got to make a choice. You're going to continue to keep going down this road with this person that you know is not living in the way that you want if you're in this spot that I'm talking about. If that person is not giving you what you need or what you want, then, we got to let go of those old habits and let it go because our children are watching us. So if you're that person that's in a relationship with someone like that now's the time to think about it long and hard before you make a decision. This podcast is just giving you information as to why maybe things are happening in your life or going in a way that you don't want them to go. Maybe this is why. And I don't want you to think that, I got to leave this person right then and there. You may not be in that situation, but I just want you to think about that. Just think about why is this stuff happening? Now you go into, okay, well, how can I fix it? It may not be fixable. That person may be comfortable living the way that they're living. But if you're not comfortable, then you got some decisions that you have to make going forward with your life. And for me, I use myself as an example. When I was with this person that was lazy, unmotivated, didn't want to do anything, my kids watching, I made a decision to let it go. And that was for me. So my dad, he said, well, what's going on? Why are you divorcing your husband? And I told him, I said, well, I had to put my kids first. And myself, but I had to put my kids first because they're watching everything that I'm going through. And I don't want them to see that anymore.
Because they'll think that's acceptable.
Yes.
Because when they see you accept it, they say, dude, that's acceptable. That's okay. That's the norm. That's okay. No, it's not okay. I had to teach my daughters that it wasn't okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay to be verbally abused. No, it's not okay. Mm-hmm. No, it's not okay for a man that's not your husband. No, we're going to throw this disclaimer out there. This is not male bashing or women bashing. If you are not married to that individual cannot ask you no questions.
See, Calvin, you stirring up some mess. Now, look, we're supposed to be
No,
talking.
we
You stirring up some mess.
no. We have to educate them because they feel that because they're in a relationship, not marriage, in a relationship, that's where you are learning about that person. Like you said, the red
Correct.
flag. You are learning. Now, if I start off asking you, well, yeah, you're late. Why you didn't call me? What?
Run.
That tell you right now to say, you know what? I'm finna go to the girls' room. Take your purse, take your phone, and say, I'll be right back. And keep it moving. That's a red flag. Because if he question you now, once he gets you
It gets worse.
at home, it's worse. You move him in, red flag, he's staying with his mama. Red flag, he's staying with his mama. But now he want to come control your house. Your house, you pay the rent. His name is not on it, like I said last time. How many bills come to your house with your name on it? If he don't have a bill coming there and he paying that bill, he don't run that house. Because number one, you're not married to him. He cannot control you and tell you what to do, what not to do, and what that's controlling. Mm-hmm. That's verbal abuse. It's not acceptable.
Yeah.
Especially if he says that he's no God. That is not acceptable. That is control. That's a controlling spirit that he have, and you better run.
It's not cute. You know, when I was young, I said, oh, he care about where I'm going. Not knowing, he just want to know my every move. Controlling.
My mom used to say, a person want to know where you at for you won't run across them.
That was my next statement. Then later I found out when I thought he wanted, but it was because he needed to know that I was somewhere occupied
exactly
while he was doing some other stuff.
No, it's not.
But that controlling can go both ways because I have been in a relationship with somebody that control wasn't even about that.
Mm-hmm.
He was just an insecure person.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So you got a very insecure person and a secure person. Those two things don't go together. And he can say, oh, I love God, I love God, I love God, I love that. But that person is doing all those things to you. You got to ask yourself, is this person really a man of God? Or is he even having morals instilled? Whereas it's more like my professor used to say, everybody's moral compass seems to be broken nowadays. It's going in every which direction.
That's because everybody wants to control everybody, but they can't control themselves.
Ooh, self-discipline, self-control.
See, self-control. Mm-hmm. Self-control. If you can't control yourself, how are you trying to control somebody? It's all over the board now. You everywhere. You everywhere, your household everywhere. You can't, it's just chaotic. Mm-hmm. So it starts with us. It starts with yourself. Yeah. It said that if a man can take care of somebody else's household and he don't take care of his own household, he's worse than an infidel. Infidel is an unbeliever. Christians should know, and I'm putting it out there, Christians should know how to run a household. Mm-hmm. They should. Some Christians don't.
Yes.
Because other people run their household. They allow mother-in-laws to run their household. They allow father-in-laws to run their household. They allow sisters to run the household. But if you don't pay bills at my home, you can't run my household. Even if you pay the bill, that's still my house because I'm the head of my house. Mm-hmm. See, but we get caught up with so much stuff, and like I said, we're gonna stay on track about the issue at hand. About is it okay? No, it's not okay because all the issue we just explained about unequally yoked. That's another one. If your goals ain't the same as my goals and you don't have Christ in your life and I have Christ, I'm going to church, you staying at home. Even though the word says that the believing wife will lead the unbelieving husband, but it's about her action and her ways. Because we do sit back and watch. My wife watched me the whole time that we was married. and watch how I lived to make sure that I was following Christ before she would follow me. And I didn't know that at first until she told me. She said, "You're not doing everything you're supposed to do, so why you want me to
Woo.
follow you?" It hurt for a little bit, but I'm like, you know what, she right. So I had to check me. See, that's why I said man up. You had to man up. You had to say, you know what, baby, you sure right.
Like Calvin said, you need that person that's going to check you.
Yeah.
And you got to be willing to receive the information.
There you go.
It's going to hurt in the beginning because, we walk around sometimes thinking we do no wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see the wrong we doing.
Right.
But your significant other see it, and they're going to call. If you with the right one, they're going to call you out on it. You might not like it.
And they supposed to because
Yes.
Because if you want to do good, your spouse should be the one to say, baby, that don't look right, or nah, that color don't look right. No matter what you're doing, even in your business, trust me, my wife used to tell me things and show me things that I did not see, even with friends.
Yes, that too.
I'm for real, Mark, baby, you need to watch him. I don't want him to come back over here. I'm like, why? I just don't want him to come back over here. Because she's seen something that I didn't see. So that's why, it's good to have a wife. Your wife is a good thing. It said when you find a wife, you find a good thing, and you get favor from the Lord. You obtain favor from God. God put that wife in your life. So, I'm not trying to be messy, y'all, but let me tell y'all something. Let God get that spouse for you. It might not be what you want, but it's what you need. Mm-hmm. Okay, she may not look like Beyonce. Okay, but trust me, it's what you need. It's what you need in your life because she's not going to steer you wrong. If she know that you trying to live right, she got your back. Mm-hmm. When you going out working, even if you get laid off, she said, "Baby, I got you. Don't worry about it. We're going to be all right." Because she following God, number one, and now she following you because she seen that you trying to do what's right. So now she get in line. She get in order. How can you make somebody, you can't even tell your children get in order if you're not in order. So how you going to tell them, as my daughter used to say when they were little, "Daddy, how can mama tell us to quit gossiping and she gossiping? Ain't that a hypocrite?" I'm like, oh my God. But children see that because you teach them. So remember now, what you teach your child going to come back. Don't get mad at them. Don't, because you teaching them not to lie. You teach them to tell the truth. In all instances, tell the truth. So when they tell the truth and bust you, don't get mad. Because that's what you train them to do. Do what's right in the eyesight of God. Not the eyesight of man, eyesight of God. As long as they truthful. And we have to do the same thing with our spouses. Be honest with them. Is something she doing? Tell her. Because she don't know. It's a learned behavior. She might have seen her mother do that. She might have seen her mother talk like that to her father. Because you never know until later on in the year, she'll say, well, that's what I seen all my life. I seen my grandmother do that, and I seen my mother do that, and I seen her mother do that, and I seen her sister do that. Especially if they come from a strong woman background, where we're strong women in the house. Mm-hmm. Men get scared of a strong woman.
And nowadays they call it masculine energy.
Mm-hmm.
You have masculine energy and feminine energy. Most men are scared of that. And I feel like I had masculine energy for a long time because even though I dolled up, when it came to my household, that was a whole different level because I wasn't trusting. Because the person that I did trust, they led me down the road of destruction. And I don't fully blame that person. That's my fault too because I didn't do the work. I didn't do the research. I didn't do anything. I just fell in line with whatever he had going on because I loved him so much. But that wasn't the right thing to do.
Right.
First I should have asked myself, is he a season or a lesson or a blessing or a lesson or whatever they say, because some people are that way, but I didn't do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So I got, God brought me that man and that was it. And I went through all them years of chaos when I simply could have just the steps I'm telling you ladies now, you ladies and you men now, if I'd have done that, I felt like my life wouldn't have been that way. Because I'd have been with the right person, period.
And sometimes we have to man up even in the midst of it. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. even in the midst of us going through the trials and tribulations of our life. And that's why I say that we have to have a relationship with God. We got to. Because the Holy Spirit will guide you. The Holy Spirit will tell you what to say, what not to say. Shut up. Stay still. I'm a living witness to that. I've been married for 21 years. And many times I wanted to walk out of the relationship because things wasn't going my way. Or things were going my way, and I just was disapproving of some things that was going on. God said, no. See, everything is a learning process that you have to learn. Everything that God give us is a learning process. You are not going to learn your wife in 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. Every year there's something new. There's every year that God is going to try you and going to try your faith to trust him. Now, when God pull your chain and tell you to man up like he did me, man up, say no. Because we as men, we don't like to tell our wives no because we feel that we tell them no when it comes to the bedroom, she going to say no. We're just going to keep it real. So we give in to a lot of pressure, a lot of things that we should say no about, but we don't say it. So now it comes a conflict and we try to put the blame on the woman. Like Adam did with Eve. It's the woman you gave me, God, but God gave him the instructions. So now you know what you're supposed to do as a man or a woman of your home. And we don't want to say, no, because we don't want to hear that. We don't come. No, I love conflict. I love conflict because if you don't have a conflict, then something ain't right. And the reason why I say that there, you're not going to always agree with me, and I'm not going to always agree with you.
That's right. Somebody being fake. I say that too.
So we have to agree to disagree. And it's okay for you to tell me, I don't like that idea. Because now you say that it make me go back and rethink it. Is that really going to work? Or is it not going to work? But if God give me that idea, I'm going to do what God tell me to do. I love you. I appreciate you. But I got to do what God tell me to do. Because in the end, what I learned, and that's why I say I had to man up, because when I didn't do what I was supposed to do because I gave in, what was thrown in my face, well, if you knew better, why you didn't do it? You the man of the house. Oh, now I'm the man of the house.
When it go bad.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
So guess what? If I'm going to make a decision, it's going to be right or wrong. I'm going to make a decision, and I'm going to live and die with that because I made that decision. So I have to be careful. I pray about everything I do. Everything. Everything I do, I pray about and ask God, God, what you think? This is you. I can't make no plans without you. It's that relationship. The same relationship you have with God, you got to have that same relationship with your wife and be able to talk at the end of the day. Baby, what? The day was kind of rough. What? Well, baby, I don't know. You got to have that talk. We don't talk no more. My mother and father used to sit on the porch and talk about how the day went. How was your day? My day was rough. What happened? But now we don't want to tell each other what happened. We don't want to. We don't want to talk about it. What happened to the relationship or talking, conversation? Is it texting now? Texting took over. How your day? All right. Smiley face.
And it really and I met this person, and I'm in a dating phase, you guys. So I met this person, and I said, well, how are you feeling today? Oh, I can't complain. Plus, I know nobody want to hear it. I said, well, I want to know how you feeling. I wouldn't, if I didn't want to know, I wouldn't have asked. He was just in shock that I actually wanted to listen about how he felt. That's just how disconnected I feel like society is. It's several conversations I have with this person. He's like, oh, nobody ever did that before. This basic stuff. If I'm running late or something and I call and apologize, he's like, oh, I ain't used to nobody apologize. I'm like, what kind of women have you dealt with, brother?
I just get there when I get there. No, that's unacceptable. Because you get there when you get there. I might not be there when you get there.
But the communication is just, like Calvin said, it's disconnected.
It is.
But that's the only way you're going to learn about a person, learn about how they feeling, learn their modes, or like the young people say, learn how they move, is to talk to them.
You got to. You got to come out of your shell. You have to open up. I'm learning with my daughters and everything. They got all this slang and stuff, and I be like, okay, hold up. What that mean? Like my granddaughter, oh, Papa is bussing. What's bussing? That means it's good.
Oh, look, I didn't know that one. I'm like, what?
Yeah, so I'm learning every
Bussing
day.
in my day meant something else. I'm
Yeah, I
like,
know.
bussing? Who bussing?
Yeah, they said, I love him, girl. Where you get that from? No, Papa. You mean bussing? Yeah, so I'm learning. So that's why I say it's never a dull moment in my life because I'm learning from my grandchildren now. I'm watching my daughters and my sons. I'm watching them. And my son, they was raised by a stepdad because I wasn't in the home. I got divorced. So I appreciate the man. He's deceased now. And I appreciate him, how he raised my boys. I really do. I shook his hand and told him that. Thank you. Because when I was out there in that world, God blessed them with someone that would take care of them, manned up.
Wow.
See?
And it takes a real man because a lot of men won't even admit that.
Oh no, I'm glad because my boys they mimic him in his ethics. He's a man of God. When I say he's a true man, he's a true man of God. And that's I couldn't say nothing because he did a great job. None of them been to jail. He did a great job. And God blessed me to have the daughters to raise them. I have one daughter that's incarcerated, and she'll be getting out real soon in 22.
Yes.
And it's a blessing really because she was in the church, and she seen what the world was doing. She seen what the world was doing, and that's why we have to stay in our children's lives. They say, how can I say it? The children always say, "You're all up in my business." I wish I would have been all up in her business. See, so now I'm a little bit more harder, not harder, but where you going, what you doing?
Firm.
Yeah, I'm real firm now. I'm real firm because that one.
Yes.
We
have to. We have to.
Yeah, and you got to. And how can I say it? That we have to learn. It's okay to talk about issues. We want to cover them up. We want to no, I'm okay. No, you're not okay. So I get tired of, how can I say? I get tired of people using the word, I'm blessed. Blessed means to be happy. You're not happy. And that's how they say, what you mean? You say, I'm blessed. No, you're not. You blessed on the outside. That's the facade you're putting on that you're happy. But inside, you're like a terrorist. You ready to blow up. You ready to self-destruct. That's why I tell them, when I see women, all this makeup and everything, I'm like, what you hiding? Because you're hurting. You're self-medicating too much. You just, then you're okay. I'm just being myself. No, that ain't you. Like my mama said, when you get that liquid courage in you, then you who you really is. Yeah, that I was waiting on the real Nikki to show up. And that's what we do because we are scared to be who we are.
Well, you know what? I was that person at one time, and I speak about this all the time, how the person I am now, I wasn't always this person. So the drunk Nikki, the one acting the fool, jumping on cars, jumping on you, I don't know. Wherever the liquor took me to go, that's where I went. But I'm not that person anymore. So it's hard for those people to accept me now because they still looking for that old person. But in my world, she's gone.
Right.
She's gone.
Old things have passed away and new things have come.
Yes.
The old got to pass. You can't allow the old to mingle in with the new.
So now I'm my authentic self. I lost my
Exactly.
train of thought. Now I'm my authentic self. I no longer feel the need to have to drink just to express something that I need to express. And yes, I still struggle with that because that's 49 years of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm doing differently.
Yeah.
And it's working for me. I'm my authentic self.
Yeah. And you got to be you.
So now the people that are accepting of me, I don't worry about, I got to go get some liquor to intertwine with these people, or I got to go do this to intertwine with these people because I'm being myself. So if you're around me, then you getting my natural self, then we good.
You getting what's in your heart.
Yes.
See, what's in your heart. Like my mama say, your heart and your mouth are 4 inches apart. So what's in your heart going to come out your mouth. So quit saying apologize. Oh, I didn't mean, yeah, you meant to say that. Everything that came out your mouth, you meant to say. So don't be apologetic of what you say. Just say, you know what? I'm going to say this in love because I mean in love. But I just don't like the way you act. See, we don't do that no more because we try to be everybody's friend. Oh, girl, no, I'm going to let you know. No, you toe up. How do I look? You, girl, go back in the house.
See, I didn't have that person to tell me that.
Oh, yeah.
They all tore up with me.
My wife will tell you in a minute. I have no boundaries. Baby, how I look? Girl, please, really? Because you represent me.
Yeah.
And she'll tell me the same thing. Baby, that ain't matching. I'm like, girl, I'm just going. Baby, it ain't matching. But we don't want to do that because, how can I say, relationships have got to the point where I don't want to offend him. Offend him. Tell him he ain't all that. Let him know that. He don't have a six-pack no more. He got a keg now. Let him know that. Maybe he'll go walk with you. Maybe he'll lose some of the weight. Mm-hmm. See?
That's
And
true.
we are scared of conversations.
And why do you think? Why do you think that is? That we scared to hurt that other person's feelings? And I'm just speaking from my perspective.
It's because we want to patty cake everything.
Or we want acceptance from people that we really shouldn't even matter.
Exactly.
You know, and I would say this. This came to me this morning. I was talking to somebody, and I don't know, the words just kind of flowed out. I was like, well, Nikki, I listened to you talk, and you sound like you know what's going on. I said, you know what? I used to say, oh, I sound like the Beverly Hillbillies when I hear myself speak on these podcasts. But when I made a decision that this isn't about me, this isn't about my guests, this is about God's work and getting his testimony and what he need me to get out. So therefore, it doesn't matter. So now, as you hear me speak, it's differently because that's my thought process now.
Because
I'm not making it about myself.
Yes, because
The relationships, you can't make it about yourself either.
no, and this is needed. And the reason why I say this is needed, these are things that pastors don't want you saying in a church. You know, I didn't have pastors say, well, he'll never preach here again. You know, and I'd be like, holler at you. Because God has known me before I was even formed in my mother's womb. That's in Jeremiah. So anybody want to look it up, he know who you are. But do you know who you are? God know that I'm that person. I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'm going to tell you whether you like it or not. I'm going to tell you in love. And when I get through telling it, I'm going to say what you want to eat. I'm going to cook you a meal. Because I believe I don't like walking around not knowing. It's like you walking around and you got something on the corner of your mouth and nobody said nothing. You just walk around looking all crazy. But nobody won't tell you. Because they don't want what? They don't want to offend you. Or is it they don't want to offend you or they don't want you looking better than them?
And I encounter women, and these are the women that I run from, and I'm just speaking for me. I'm not a licensed professional. I'm speaking on life process and stuff I learned out of the Bible. I'm just saying. If a woman walk up to me and I'm talking to her maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and within them 2 or 3 minutes of me speaking and we're talking back to back, and then she all of a sudden say, oh, girl, oh, you know, you got a spot on your pants, or, oh, why you wear that color? It don't look good on you. So as I'm speaking to you, you turn me down in your mind. That's what I'm thinking. Because why are you thinking like that? I'm not looking at you trying to pick out what I think are your imperfections. People like that you need to stay away from. They don't mean you no good. And I'm going to pass that on to you off the top. Because when I was dealing with those type of people, it made me go home and look like, well, wait a minute, maybe I do need to do this. When in reality, it wasn't even about me. It was something that they seen in me that they wanted in them. So they wanted to tear me down to join in their party.
They were insecure about their own well-being. They were insecure. Anytime somebody tell you what you look like and what you don't look like, because they want to look like you or they want to mimic you. I had a pastor tell me one time, he said, Calvin, he said, you can't pray like me. And I looked at him, he said, you can't preach like me. I'm like, man, he said, because I'm me. You got to be you. And that's why I'm here on this podcast, because I had to be me. Inside the church, it's not me. The reason why I say that there, because the Bible said that he told them, his disciples, he said, go out and compel them to come in. So if everybody in the church, see, the church is supposed to look like an emergency room, hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be flooded on Sundays with people with broken hearts, people with addictions, people with any kind of ailment. That's what the church is for healing, deliverance. But now we got these rock star preachers on the big screen, and they scared to wake up the people from their dream. They scared to wake them up. I'm not scared. That's why God have allowed me. He said, son, he said, your pulpit is the world. Because people need to hear this. People need to hear this about relationships, about what a man's supposed to do, what he's not supposed to do. It's biblical principles. We're not just going off top of our heads and say, oh, you ain't supposed to. No. I researched that. I had to look at that before I said that. I said, no, because I don't want to offend nobody. But the Bible tells you that about men, tell you about women supposed to stay in her own house. She's supposed to provide for her own house. A man supposed to drink from his own well. That means be with his woman, his own well. A woman with her own husband. See, it tells you that. Her own husband. I don't have no business at your house talking to your wife. I don't have no business if you're not there. That's respect. Me and my wife had this rule that my mother and father taught me a long time ago. Women talk with women and men talk to men. I do not call your house asking for your wife. Is your wife at home? Really? We got problems.
And see, that's the way I am. Even with Sharonda. You know,
Yeah.
if I text your wife, it's a group text.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's respect. Because
Yes.
it was something I left, and she kept saying, oh, you can go by and get it, Calvin. I said, but you're not there. I'm not going to your house if you're not there. Then I guess she thought about it, and she said, oh, okay, Nikki, because I was persistent about that. But see, that's the old school.
Right.
People don't do that no more. It's like you got to respect other people's property, other people's things, other people's relationships. It's like, it's just chaotic. It's all over the place. And I think that stems from individuals not knowing their roles.
Because they'll do it. The next thing you know, something come up. He did this, or
He said this,
she
and it
said
ain't
this to
even
me,
what
or
that,
this,
you
that.
know.
No, it wasn't like that. But if you was at home,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have happened.
So, okay, we done digress all into some other stuff. We got some more topics coming. But let's go back to the topic at hand. If you're going to be, or if you're thinking about getting married, or you're in a relationship, we're just giving you the steps of things to look for within your household, within your mate. So if these individuals are not doing certain things and your house is chaotic, like I said before, this could be the reason why. Everybody's not going to live their life this way. Hey, it may be a husband and a wife or whatever, and those reverse roles may work for them. And that's good. But for some of us, it's just not working. And those are the people that I'm trying to reach with this podcast. You know, and with that being said, I feel like Calvin said, that one verse, read it again about how if a man says he's of the church, but he doesn't live of it, then that's a red flag within itself, especially if you're a woman that's looking for a man that lives with biblical principles.
Okay, let me read this. Let me read this here, because God said, "No, you got. I have to mention this." 2 Timothy 3, chapter 3, 5 through 6. Now, I want y'all to really listen to this here. It say they will act religious, but they will reject the power that could make them godly. Stay away from people like that. They are the kind who work their way into people's homes and win the confidence of vulnerable women who are burdened with the guilt of sin and controlled by various desires. Now, this comes from the National, Jesus, thank you. The National Translation Bible, the Living Bible. I got because I wanted it to be broken down. So what this saying that, whew, Jesus, we talking about that man laying on your couch, not working, while you going to work. It said that he will come in, acting all godly. He know the lingo. It's gonna be okay. God is in control. You fall for that. You're like, Mama, I got a godly man. He act godly. Because he come to a vulnerable situation and you vulnerable. You just got it through a divorce. You left one. Now you got one acting like one. Your desires are fleshly because you see the six pack and he hallelujah. Praise the Lord. And that catch your attention, that catch your eyes. But he come in wanting to work. He said, I got a job. But soon as he take your vulnerability of you working, oh yeah, you high class, you working, you got it going on, you driving a BMW, you got it going on. Now he laying on your couch while you go to work. Now you're trying to figure out how to get the devil out your house, but you allow him to come in because he act like he was godly.
And I know that touched a lot of us, including myself.
So read it when you get time. 2 Timothy 3, 5, and 6. And then Titus 1 and 16. Titus 1 and 16 says, such people claim that they know God, but they deny him by the way they live.
How you living?
How you living?
How you living?
You deny him by the way you live. My pastor used to always say, and this Pastor David, Dr. David Harrison, he said, Calvin, the way I live at home, the way I live in the church, you never see a difference. And I say the same thing about me. The way you see me at home, the way you see me at church, the way you see me here on this podcast, the way you're going to see me when you see me in the street, it's the same way. You get the same Calvin.
So if you're with an individual right now and they're doing just as Calvin just described, you might want to take a second, third, or fourth look at that person and critically think to yourself, is this the person I really want to be with?
Ask them to pray with you. Ask them to say a prayer. Ask them to bless the food.
And I'm sorry, I've been with one that blessed the food and everything. I thought, oh, yeah, he's a godly man. But see, I didn't communicate. I didn't do the work. I didn't do the research. So yeah, I got a man just like what Calvin described. And they're coming to your word. You think, oh yeah, he of God.
Oh.
Yeah, when it was benefiting for him.
Yeah.
When he was getting to know me.
A wolf in sheep clothing. He was a wolf. A harlot.
Told me off the bone. Told me off the bone. I don't even think I had a bone. No more.
Sheep
Chewed that up too.
Mary had a little
But
lamb.
I thank that person because it made me look at things differently. I wouldn't be sitting here right now giving you guys this information if I hadn't went through what I went through to get to this side. So once again, I would like to thank Calvin for coming. And I hope with this podcast that you will now look at your situation and think about, am I really living Christ-like, or, does this person have any kind of moral things, biblical principles within? That's something you need to look for if you want to live your life that way, So with that being said, I would like to thank Calvin for coming.
Because, see, we cannot continue to make excuses, even though a person is not perfectly. He said we all have sinned and come short of glory of God. But it's something that must change once you come in contact with God. Things changes. My life changed. Nikki, your life changed. See, people's life change. And if you are a true believer and you know that your life been changed, then you need to share that with that significant other. Don't force feed them. Just talk. Can we talk about the word and see how they go? And see, is he receptible to that?
With that being said, next week, I need you guys, If this open up your eyes to possibly thinking of something different, next week, I am doing a show called, well, I don't know what it's called, but it's Biblical Principles in Dating. So I'm going to give you questions that you can ask that person so you'll know within that first date whether you want to keep moving with this person or maybe this is just not the person for me. And I think it's very important. So we won't get to the point where it's chaotic. See, right now with this particular podcast, I'm trying to break generational curses. I'm trying to get you to reach yourself first and then go to your children. Break these curses because we can't keep going in society at the route that we're going. You know, I want family units to stay together, period. Because how else are we going to grow and learn? We got to stay together. Husband and wife, or however else you want to name it, we need to stay together. And we need these, I feel like we need these biblical principles. And I feel like it's nothing hard. You should be doing these things anyway.
We always taught that growing up, but once we got away from it, like I said, when I was 18, I ain't going back to church.
Yes, when I get out of my mama's house, I ain't doing all this stuff.
But God broke me down and said, no, everything you learned, I'm dealing with you about it. And that's why now I'm here because I want to help somebody that might have went through some of the things that I went through. And at that time, it was like everybody was for themselves. Mm-hmm. I couldn't get the help I wanted because everybody was busy. Everybody would run. See, but I'm not busy because I know how it feels to be stuck in a spot and nobody to help you. Nobody throw you a lifeline. It's you know, it's me. I need help. Me. Mm-hmm. So I understand. So that's why I love doing what I'm doing because I want to reach someone. If I reach just one, I'm fine with that. Yeah. God said, leave the 99 and go get that one. Mm-hmm. I want to get that one who's struggling with self, who's struggling with knowing who they are.
Yes. From a man's perspective and a woman's perspective.
Yes.
I want to reach that woman so she know who she is as a woman and her role as a woman.
Exactly.
So with that being said, I'm going to have to end this podcast on that note. I would like to thank each and every listener. And if you're watching me on YouTube, thank you. Once again, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you got something from this podcast. I hope that you got something that you can use in your everyday life. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. And you can find me on any of the podcast arenas. And once again, thank you. And I'll talk to you again next week.